Hello everyone. Hey, thanks for joining me on this Tuesday Lunch Alert. Got a great little lesson here for you, but listen, before we move on, I want to remind you, listen, take some time and read Hebrews chapter 11. It is a blessing chapter, all right? It is all about faith. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. That's what Hebrews 11:6 says. For anyone who comes to him must first believe he is, and he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Let me say this. I pray that you are the type of person that wants to please the Lord. I know I am. I want to please God. And when you act in faith or believe something in faith, it pleases the Lord. And God will honor your faith. So get this. We're going to pick it up. And again, I would suggest that you go back and review maybe the previous lessons if you're kind of lost as to where we're at. But we're going to pick it up at Hebrews chapter 11, verse 22. Here's what it says. By faith, Joseph. Now we know Joseph, you have Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons. One of those sons was Joseph, okay? Joseph, when he was dying, all right, made mention of his departure, of the departure of the children of Israel, and gave instructions concerning his bones. I tell you, that's a powerful thing because get this. Here he is, an old man getting ready to die, and he said, now listen, I'm prophesying, I am speaking over this entire nation, that this entire nation is going to come out of Egypt and inherit the promised land. When they do, make sure you take my bones, make sure you take my remains with you, and take them back to our homeland, the promised land. I tell you, that's a powerful thing because oftentimes we think of our faith as stopping when we die. But I'm here to tell you, Smith Wigglesworth was a man, he believed that a razor would never touch his body in the sense of any type of knife. He would not receive any type of surgery. He said that the man who made this body, talking about God, he said the God who made this body is able to keep it and heal it. All right, so all of his life, he never received any type of surgery in his entire life. But the day he died, get this, it was their practice to do an autopsy on the body of a person who would die back in those days during Smith Wigglesworth's time. And during that time, it just so happened that the man who would have done the autopsy was out on vacation that week. So he ended up going to the grave without his body ever having an autopsy because he had always spoken over his life that no knife will ever touch my body. I tell you, so faith can outlive you. Faith can just like I was teaching you yesterday, when you confess a blessing over your children and over your children's children, that a lot of times those things will come to pass. I believe they will all come to pass. The things you speak over your children's lives, even as you get old and even before you pass away. But get this, Joseph believed that the nation would come out of bondage and his bones were going to come out with him. It takes a man of faith to believe that even while the whole nation is in bondage, all right? Now listen to this, it goes on. Verse 23, it says, by faith Moses, when he was born, was hidden 3 months by his parents. So get this. Even when Moses was a child, his parents operated in faith, hiding him. Here's what it says. Because they saw that he was a beautiful child, and they were not afraid of the king's counsel. Get this. They moved in faith even against the king's commands. That just shows you that we're not called to bow to any type of political power. We're called to bow to the name of Jesus and to the power of God. And listen, by faith, his parents, by faith, believe that if we hide him, God's going to work out his plan in his life. And let me tell you, we all know the story of Moses. Moses is one of the greatest men of the Old Testament. Matter of fact, to the Jews, he is the greatest man of the Old Testament, all right? So listen, we can understand that by faith, we can impact our children. It seems like this last couple days, I hope you're getting the vibe, that we can do a lot of things for our children by faith. Moses' parents hid Moses by faith, believing that God would work out a plan on his life. And let me tell you, God used him in a mighty way. All right, now listen, we're going to continue this tomorrow. Pick it up tomorrow because now we're going to get into some rich verses. And don't miss the rest of this week because we're going to get into some powerful stuff. God bless you, and I'll see you tomorrow.